listening to The Gender Rebels.
I'm Kathleen, a cis woman and ally.
And I'm Faith, a trans woman.
Gender Rebels is a question and answer podcast that explores life outside the gender binary.
A big thanks to our Patreon supporters.
If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/genderrebels. Hey everyone, I'm Kath.
And I'm Faith.
Welcome to the Gender Rebels.
Yay!
We have a brief announcement about some changes happening in the Gender Rebels.
Yes. And as you know, this is our 103rd episode, I think. We've done a lot of these. We've done one a week for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And you guys may not be aware, but that is a lot of work. And so to help us keep our sanity, we are actually going to be reducing these to every other week. And I know it's going to be less Gender Rebels for you guys, but this will help us
maintain the quality that we've been bringing you.
Yeah.
And thought about going into shittier episodes every week. We're like, no, they'd rather have good episodes every other week.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing every other week. I know you guys like your weekly dose, but...
And we love talking to you.
Yeah.
But we want to keep it good.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you keep listening.
Yeah.
Well, I know one person will be listening to this episode.
Who's that?
Listener Melanie, who sent us this question.
Okay, great. Let's hear it.
Melanie wrote, "First off, thanks so much for the podcast. It has given me a lot of courage to acknowledge myself and the thoughts I've tried to bury. The funny thing is, I relate to Faith's story a lot, as my family is so fundy that I was pretty much in a cult when I was a kid. Even though I am just beginning to explore my identity, and I am not sure where I will land, whether I will eventually go full-time, or if maybe I will settle into some sort of gender fluidity, I feel like the likely outcome of my exploration will be HRT and a, quote, full-on transition. Anyway, my question is this. I know I have friends that will accept me, some of whom I've already come out to. But for the purposes of my family and the aforementioned cult, there is absolutely no way that talking to them about my gender dysphoria would be pleasant or even productive. In fact, it would likely result in them whisking me away to some kind of forced exorcism Jesus camp in the wilds of Mississippi. The other thing is, I don't necessarily just want to cut them out completely. In spite of their personal beliefs and the inherent trauma that came with it, there still is a lot of love. I know that deep down they mean well, and the thought of not being there for them as they age makes me really sad inside. I am an only child. So in your opinion, would it be possible for someone who is ongoing HRT and possible post-op to disguise themselves Mulan style and revert back to boy mode passably enough for the purposes of semiannual family meetings, birthdays, Christmases? I know it will kind of be like a box within a box, but what I want is to live my life as the woman I feel I am and, quote, pass in my day-to-day activities, but then say 3 times a year, put on a man disguise and go home for the family. Also, if that sounds stupid, what other alternatives are there? Any advice is appreciated. And if there is an episode that has already dealt with this, just let me know. I haven't made it through them all yet. Well, first of all, Melanie, listen to all the episodes.
There's some good ones. We have not addressed this particular question.
Yes, this is a new one.
So basically, Melanie, yes, I totally get growing up in that, quote, cult. Kath was once reading a book that was like about a survivor of a cult. Mm-hmm. And as she's telling me this story, I'm like, oh yeah, that, and that, and that. And like Faith
recognized the songs they sang at church. Like that was probably your
and this, you know, it was a very evangelical. They were probably a little more hardcore than we were, mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of cult-like evangelical stuff. So I totally understand coming from that and being like, you say there's absolutely no way that talking to them about my gender dysphoria would be pleasant. You say that you worry about them whisking you off to, you know, Jesus camp, reconditioning, mm-hmm. pray away the gay, whatever. Mm-hmm. So since you say that, it makes me think that you're in a situation where you're still dependent on them, mm-hmm. maybe financially, maybe for a place to stay. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Yeah. It really does suck. And what I would encourage everyone, I know everyone does not have these economic means to like be able to like self-support, but if you can, make that a goal. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, get yourself out of that situation. That's mm-hmm. not a healthy situation to be in, where you're basically subjected to oppression and lying your way through it, constantly lying to the people that you say you love. Mm-hmm. that's not healthy, not long term, and that's not going to get you a healthy outcome. And you're not going to be the healthy family member that is going to be someone that can be meaningful, that can have a meaningful life with your family. If you're lying to them and constantly uncomfortable about who you are, get out. If you can get out, get out.
If you're not already. It's not entirely clear from the letter.
Yeah. You say, let's say this from that first step. Like, if you still live with them, get out. You know, if you can't, then that's going to be really tricky, and you may not have a lot of options. But it sounds like you want to transition, so hopefully getting away from this cult, getting away from the hardcore religious family you're with, it's to the point where you can have your own apartment, you can have your own car, you can have your own bank accounts,
in charge of your medical care.
Yeah, exactly. So that's got to be your number one goal if you're still living with them. Get a roommate, figure something out.
Yeah.
Like you can. It's doable. It's absolutely doable. And if you're not living with them and you're just thinking, okay, I'm going to transition and I don't know how to come out to my super religious family, and I think you say, there's no way, and this was like all caps.
She wrote it in caps, yeah.
Absolutely no way that talking to them about my gender dysphoria would be pleasant or even productive. I know that feeling. I absolutely know that feeling because I've been there, because I have thought in my mind, there's absolutely no way that talking to my own family about my gender dysphoria and my ideas about transitioning would be pleasant or productive. I've been there. Absolutely been there. And you know what? There is some way. There is a possibility that things can go well. My own coming out to my family went better than I could have ever imagined.
Way, way better.
Way, way better. Now,
not saying that that's gonna happen with you.
Yeah.
And I think Melanie is the best judge of how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
I mean, you were surprised by your family, but she might know exactly what'll happen.
But I knew exactly what would happen with my family. I'm just saying that I'm not saying it's always going to be perfect or that it's going to always be better than you think, but saying that there's absolutely no way sells your family short. You say they love you. You say you love them. There's a lot of love there. There's obviously they've got an LGBTQ kid that's suffering. They don't know about it. They love you. That can work. We had Katie Rain Hill on for our 100th episode. She grew up in a similar circumstance too, and her family made it work too. And so to say that there's absolutely no way it's ever going to work, that just to me is like selling everyone short. You know, it's selling your family short. These people love you, and they may show that love with a Bible at the head, smacking you with it, but you know, it is love, and
you clearly love them back.
Yeah. So I would hope that one day you can. One day you're able to, because it sounds like family is very important to you. So hopefully you can. Hopefully you won't ever have to hide like that.
But
yeah,
I trust Melanie. I trust Melanie's judgment. I trust she's thought this through. And let's go with the assumption that she can't. She can't tell them.
She can't.
That can never happen. And to the question submitted.
Yeah. So, okay. Mulan. So, okay. So this is basically going to be, if you're female to male and you're going to be taking testosterone, there is going to come a certain point where it's going to be harder.
Yes.
Because you are going to get some bone growth. You are going to get some beard growth. Your voice is going to deepen. I think Melanie is... Oh, I know, but okay. I'm just answering it for everyone.
Okay, yeah.
So, if you're FTM, then there may come a point where, you know, obviously, an FTM could doll up.
Sure.
You know, again, they're going to end up into some of the same problems that people assigned male at birth run into, where you're going to have to shave that hair, you're going to have to pluck those brows, you're going to have to get some hip padding or something, but you know, it can work. If you're MTF, like I think you are, Melanie, and like I am, then yeah, I think it's something that's totally hideable. Let's say you're on HRT for a while. HRT will change your bone structure a little bit. I'm sorry. Sorry. HRT will redistribute your fat. So if your face will feminize a little bit, not to the point where I think it's like completely impossible, because really your underlying bone structure is not going to change, but your facial fat will redistribute, give you a little bit more feminine of a face, but not enough that I think it would really.
And also, it's gradual.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned 2 times a year, 3 times a year. That might be noticeable if they're not seeing you regularly. But if you're there for Sunday dinner, this is a very gradual change that they might not notice at all.
Yeah. Same with body hair. If you're a werewolf type guy and, you start taking your HRT and you're going to shed that hair. When I was presenting male and I was living male, I was like almost Sean Connery, Robin Williams level. Not quite that bad, but I was pretty bad. And then just taking HRT, it kind of went away in a huge way, which is amazing. So there's that.
But I feel like people won't notice that unless they're looking for that.
Unless they're looking for, well, if you're going to the beach or something.
Yes.
That might be, or you're just wearing shorts, that might, something to think about.
I feel like they might notice well-groomed eyebrows more than they would notice
they might,
any other kind of facial
and just
hair.
Just laugh it off, manscaping. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Yeah. And my girlfriend wanted to clean them up a little bit. I think she went a little far personally.
That's good.
So,
I like that.
Yeah. So go with that. And there's always the lie about the swim team. No. I used to shave my legs in high school, and my parents never said anything. But if they even noticed, I don't think they would have. But I had a bunch of lies. Like, it's for a gender studies class I'm taking.
Wow.
And we had to do something of the opposite sex and write about it, and I shaved my legs, and or it's for swimming. I was not a swim team. They would have known about that.
That would have been a bad one. Yeah.
But then I was kicked off the swim team very quickly. Yeah. For an unrelated thing, but my legs are still shaved.
Didn't seem worth telling you.
Yeah. Any number of lies one can concoct.
Yes.
So that's basically HRT. You could hide HRT pretty much for an MTF. You could hide HRT basically forever. Unfortunately, HRT is not magic. It does some wonderful things. But when it comes to like body fat redistribution or things like that, unless you're naked, unless you're having one of those naked cults, which I hope you're not in, because that's weird. Also, if you're handling snakes, please don't handle snakes.
Don't do the snake thing, please.
Yeah, if you're just like in a, pretty evangelical church, then, you're going to be wearing pants and a shirt. No one's going to notice, really. If you have long hair, so what? Say you're in a metal band and you're fine.
And keep it tidy in a ponytail or something when you're at Thanksgiving. I mean, I think this is possible.
Yeah.
And we had a similar question before, HRT in the closet. Remember that one? And that was someone who was not presenting. I believe it was male to female. So that person was not presenting as female at all, but wanted HRT for the dysphoria and for, maybe when I do move out of the house or graduate high school or whatever their point in life was. I do want to transition, but for now, living at home, just taking the pills, can you do that? And same thing. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I think you can. You can keep, you can cut your fingernails short before you go back home for the birthday or the Christmas. I actually found it, we were making a video, I don't think we've posted it yet, about female voice, and I found it kind of tricky to get back into my male,
when you had to,
male voice, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not even, every time I do it, I have to, I fake it, because I can't remember what my actual voice was.
What it sounded like?
Like 4 years ago, yeah. So that might be tricky. You might have to be like I've really focused on my cadence and stuff like that, and so I do have to focus on it, but even when I'm not focused on it, I'm still a little bit feminine. And so, yeah, you might need to focus on that. You might need a little bit of practice, a little session to kind of hour or so to get your voice to work back the way it should be.
Yeah.
And gosh, if you get bottom surgery, if you get GRS and get one of those Henderson's vulcanized vaginas installed. Henderson's makes the best quality vaginas. And if you get one of those, obviously you're going to be fine. No one's going to be seeing you naked. At least I hope not.
Well,
and
Melanie's lovers.
Yeah, Melanie's lovers are, but her lovers are going to be fine. I
hope so.
They're going to know, and it's your family. You know, your mom and dad hopefully aren't going to see you naked.
Yeah.
I say naked because, you know, I'm from the South.
Because it's silly.
Naked. And if you get top surgery, well, that's going to be a little harder.
Yeah, but still not impossible. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I
guess it depends on the size.
I don't know. Yeah, it depends on the size, and I'm not 100% sure how well you can bind
implants.
Fake, yeah. I don't know because they're not fatty. It's a pod essentially, and if it's just natural fat, that'll squish down into your body.
Yeah,
you know that's used to moving around. If it's a pod, I don't know how well you can squish it. You can probably squish it to a certain degree.
Well, I mean, if you get to that point in your life where you're thinking about breast implants to achieve the feminine look you want most of the time, I imagine that's a conversation you'll have with your doctor and be like, look, this is my family situation. I put a lot of thought into it. This is how it has to be. What I'm going for is a B cup or less because I do need to be able to disguise it under a suit jacket at Easter dinner.
Or just always wear a big winter coat and just be like, whew, it's chilly. Or always meet your family for skiing vacations.
What if Melanie's from the South?
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's honestly, that's going to be the hardest thing is just if you get boobs, that's going to be probably the trickiest thing. Like Cass said, probably talking to your doctor about that. Or just don't get boobs, you know?
Yeah, maybe don't get boobs.
Like, you know, a lot of people will get some breast growth from HRT. Probably not as much as you want.
There's high quality breast forms that you can wear most of the time. Skip the surgery and keep that option available for yourself. Yeah.
So other than boobs, yes, you can hide. It is going to be super easy to hide. I hope that you get to a point where you don't have to hide.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes me sad about this question.
Yeah.
This is clearly these people that you love very much and love you very much, but they'll just never know the real you. And I understand your reasons why, but it does make me sad.
And hopefully, you know, you can get to a point where, you know, you are willing to come out. I would encourage you to I don't understand your exact circumstances.
Right.
So clearly, you know, if your father's running around with a shotgun being like, I'll shoot any queer, you know, obviously personal safety is super important. That has to be the number one thing. Is your safety of others, you know, if there's potential danger.
Yeah.
But I hope that, you know, you can think about coming out. Maybe even sit down, write your parents a letter. You don't have to send it, but just writing it out kind of will help you get your thoughts down. When I was writing, I wrote letters to come out to my family, and partly that's because I think it was fair to give them time to digest it.
Yeah.
And also, I don't live with them, so my choices were like phone call, text, or wait until I see them. And I thought letter would be best. And just being able to put your thoughts down and being like, I love you. You are super important in my life. This is something that's been going on in my life, you know, for, you know, ages, however long it's been going on for you, Melanie. This is not something that's going away. This is something that's serious. You might even say, hey, I've talked to a doctor about this because having a medical professional's opinion that you can reference, you know, I've talked to a therapist. I've been seeing a therapist for the last couple years. I've talked to a doctor who's been able to help me. That kind of thing is important. And then just putting your thoughts down, I think, can really help you.
Yeah. You might still decide to never tell them, but it's going to be helpful for you.
Yeah. And I would hope that one day you can, and that you wouldn't have to hide who you really are from your family, because ultimately that's going to give you a relationship with your parents, but it's not going to give you the best relationship with your parents.
Not the relationship you deserve, but I do understand that you think, probably with a lot of good evidence, that that's the only possible relationship.
And maybe. And, you know, the other thing is that you can also feel out other people in the family.
That if you have a cousin, a cool aunt, I get they might all be that religious cult group, but there might be someone who you could talk to who could listen, who could hear you, who has gay friends, who has talked about gay topics non-disparagingly. Maybe, I hope.
I mean, just see. Coming out is a super complicated process, and we can't really get into the full details of it, but I just hope that, because you can hide. You can hide very easily. Mm-hmm. But LGBTQ people tend to hide for at least part of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
And those parts of our lives are never really the parts that are the best. Mm-hmm. And coming out is such a huge, important step. And so I would hope that one day you do get to the point where you can be able to do that. In the meantime, yes, you can hide in plain sight without anyone suspecting anything if you need to.
Well, though, and something I'd said before, and I do want to double check with you, because this is probably pretty important. If Melanie's only seen her parents twice a year.
Yeah.
They'll notice something, right? Like the gradualness makes it easier to ignore. It's the frog boiling by degrees.
Yeah, I think you're going to look different. Obviously, maybe your hair is longer, maybe your nails are a little cleaned up, maybe your brows are sculpted. Like, you're going to look different, but people also look different.
Yeah. So if they say something, I put on some weight, I lost some weight. Like, I'm sure there's ways to explain it. Yeah.
I don't think that's something that, I think that's always something you can just say, Okay. I think hiding, it's easy. I hid it for most of my life.
But you weren't on HRT.
I was on HRT for the first year before I came out at work.
Yeah.
So, I hit HRT for a whole year, and I've known people who've been on HRT for like 15 years before they come out. Mm-hmm. And obviously that was fine for them.
Sure.
And so I think people don't look for what they don't want to see.
That's true.
And people tend to, even if something's a little weird, they're not really gonna cognitively think on that, focus on that, laser focus, unless you have that like crazy uncle who's like, wait a second.
Well, Melanie's an only child, so it's not like their siblings will be talking about their jobs and grad school and pregnancies and stuff. It's all on Melanie.
It's all on Melanie.
And I've never had that particular curse, so you'll still have to be the center of attention.
I think you'll be fine, Melanie.
Yeah.
And, I hope that your circumstance changes. If it doesn't, then yes, you can hide.
Keep us posted. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to hear your progress, and if you do decide to talk to them, or probably not, sounds like, how these Christmases and birthdays go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for writing, Melanie, and thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Talk to you next time.
All right, thank you, guys.
If you've enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep making more great content, go to patreon.com/genderrebels.
We have many different levels of support and lots of great rewards,
including drinks with the Gender Rebels at Stonewall.
Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes. That makes it easier for other people to find us.
And send your questions to questions@genderrebels.com. Or find us on Twitter @The Gender Rebels.
Music for The Gender Rebels is by Jasper the Colossal. Follow the link down below or download them on iTunes today.
And for all our episodes, visit genderrebels.com.
The Gender Rebels is a Comeback Sync production, copyright 2018. All rights reserved.
And to all you Gender Rebels out there, keep rebelling.
Bye.
Bye.